So there's a clear sense of returning confidence here among businesses represented at Davos. I spoke to John Chambers of Cisco Systems this morning. He sees a strong pipeline coming through for spending on his enterprise equipment. And he is also, of course, betting very heavily on the Internet of Things. But this confidence is driven much more by economic recovery, particularly in the United States. A bit of a change from previous years, when obviously developed economies were the ones having the problems and the emerging markets were the strong ones. People's worries here are about the relative softening of growth in China, and businesses are concerned about the effect that might have on the commodities cycle and therefore on energy companies, for example, and also more broadly, because they bet heavily in those regions for the medium term, what effect does that have on them in the short term? There's capital spending in the works as well. A lot of big companies, particularly in the States, have cash piles that they want to spend, and they're taking a little bit of time, though. People are telling me that it's going to take longer than expected necessarily to get some of this cash out of the cash piles, because companies are naturally cautious coming out from the shadow of the financial crisis. I think most people I've spoken to here believe that has now passed over to a large degree. So businesses aren't as worried about that, but they've learned some lessons as well. They bet heavily, all often in the same areas, and suffered ahead of the crisis. Now they're going to be a little bit more choosy, people are telling me. So I think business, obviously, much more confident than in previous years. People are noticing the difference even compared with just last year, let alone with 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. But thinking carefully about what the next moves might be before they spend those cash buffers that they had built up in the wake of the financial crisis. And one big talking point today, obviously there's always breaking news during Davos, is Mohamed El-Erian resigning unexpectedly from Pimco, the big bond investment house. This raises a lot of questions, I think, not only for those who are interested in seeing what the direction of Pimco's investments will be, but also sort of succession questions. El-Erian was the person who was thought to be in line to succeed Bill Gross running that portfolio. Other people have been promoted, but clearly it's a big company with a big influence on markets and therefore indirectly often on businesses. It's causing a lot of discussion exactly what happens next and what the implications are. Andrew Hill, Financial Times, Davos.